the purpose of most organisms is to live, breed, and then die. But as to why
Well,
someone brought it here, I can only
so-
imagine.
someone brought it here and is coming to regularly sample it. Value. Is it a narcotic, a dye? What value does it have?
I don't suppose anyone of you has seen anyone out in the woods before.
I
Go
mentioned
look at
the
Zamek.
forest. I mentioned the forest and preservation lady.
It seems like we have a suspect then.
But if Miss Harvey was abducted while she was asleep, why do we think she would?
Because her dad said that she went out to the woods.
You know, her father might not be a reliable.
That could be the case, but there are a bunch of kids missing, and it does have something to do with this flower in this field. And now we found another body out there.
Well, that also perplexes me. Like, nothing about this fungus
You cut off.
dead matter to grow on or something.
The bit of that cut off.
Yeah, we lost some of that, dude.
Does this plant need someone dead or matter growing?
It's not a plant,
Why
it's
you're
a
cutting off
fungus.
so much right now.
Yeah, I really don't know why either.
Well, to answer your question, no, I don't think it needs dead bodies to grow.
Why would like that's the thing that's really nagging me. Why would they put this in the middle of nowhere when they could grow it almost anywhere?
I go, certain places have certain special, essences or properties to them. Maybe this thing will only grow out there. Maybe it can't grow anywhere else.
It's clear to me that this organism is already spreading underneath the woods, but I'm curious what it has to do with the webbing. The two seem to react similarly. My assumption, of course, is that they are related, but there's no relation. They don't seem to interact at any point that we've observed.
Maybe it's like bees. Maybe the creatures in the trees spread the fungus around.
Well, there's also some fungal matter that will be connected by plants, but it's actually one unified organism.
Precisely.
Yeah, you find this in gardening, where if you just pull out like the fungus or whatever, that doesn't do it. You have to get to the core.
I believe there's a woods up north, a specific breed of tree, actually, that is, the whole forest is actually one organism, each and every tree connected by the roots.
I'd
to an
complain about
underground surface organism.
Yeah, I would complain about invasive flora interrupting 20s, even a concept.
No, there was conservatism at this time in environmental protection.
Oh, okay.
Invasive
Conservationists,
species.
yeah.
This is actually the era where it started.
Oh, yeah, good old Teddy Roosevelt. Well, then,
Yeah.
there we go. We might want to the Fish and Wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose then you know where that is.
Fish and Wildlife? That's a federal government that deals with books and creation.
Oh. Yeah, and I'm not... I suppose there might be a federal building in Dracoga.
There is. It's almost like there's a gang problem in Dracoga.
So what is it that you all plan to do right now?
Well, I want to look at Dante. Where do you think we should proceed? Find our... It's another day without her discovery.
We're at the grill, right?
Yes.
How many people are here?
There's a good handful of people here, actually. The lunch rush has already passed by, and these are the stragglers.
All right. Well, I suppose this is the scene to come clean in. I guess I'm gonna sit somewhere near the edge where I can keep an eye out where people might be walking too close. that I won't talk too loudly, or I'll stop talking if somebody passes me by. But I'll when I sorry, wrong voice. When I was a mere child of I should probably stop. I should hand to mouth. I should probably stop. This is not my voice. I was born here. I come
Wait,
from this
so
town.
you're not an original. Your entire act is a lie.
Oh, gee, what a shocker!
I was born here.
I roll my eyes again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I was just overcome. Please do go on.
When I
Really?
was about 13, my father was killed. That was kind of hard on me, so I started taking on things. I started hanging out with bad people. Cutting school, doing that sort of thing that you do when you're that age. And we would quite often hang out in the woods. Those woods. And not long after, I mean, there's probably poignant long pauses as he has this middle distance stare, and his eyes go kind of glassy. That kind of way when someone's remembering something they don't want to remember, or it's kind of horrific to them. We all have those kind of thoughts sometimes. I can still remember the screams. There was this axe that just came out of nowhere, and it struck the tree right in front of me. Had it been inches, I wouldn't be here to sit with you today. That was the tree where you found that flower. That's how I knew to go there. I was the only one who came back from the woods that day. It's why everybody blames me. It's why I had to leave this place, and I never came back until just recently. It's very... I mean, he probably starts hyperventilating again and just stops talking.
Nicholas
All right,
will very quietly pass you an inhaler.
And I'm like, do you remember a tiger living in the woods?
No, I don't remember any tiger.
Well, it's very brave of you to be so candid about trusting untoward experience. But I don't want to minimize your trauma here, but so what's the bridge between that and the disappearance of Miss Harvey?
Her father was a bully of mine when we were kids, and apparently after I left, he went on to have a family and children of his own, and apparently now his daughter has faced the same fate as my friends from back then. And since he recognized me, he thinks I have something to do with it. He holds me accountable for the deaths of his friends as well.
Wow. Something unnatural is going on. The only thing I can think of is does come looking. Someone has been visiting that flower bed besides us. But short of staking it out and waiting to see who shows up and then following them, I can't think of anything else.
Plus, that would probably necessitate us being there at night, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be out there in darkness.
I mean,
I have a flashlight.
I don't think
Says
that's going to help
Nicholas
us.
just out of nowhere.
I don't think it's going to help
I
us,
do too.
Professor. I think we need to find this mountain man. See what he knows. See if we can get some clues. I mean, and I look back at Dante. I'm like, do I call you Oliver, Dante? You know,
I
Well, are any
never
of you-
told you my name.
Are
But,
any of you skilled trackers?
but what's his name?
Skilled-
What's his name? Did
Yeah,
Claudia
he shouted
Harvey's
your
dad?
name in front of
Yeah.
Zamek.
Yeah.
Well, you're not being a very good assistant if you start calling me by my real name.
Fine, Dante. It is. So, yeah. Do you know anyone else in this town who would be old enough and might know what was going on in the woods at the time?
I mean, I guess Spirit probably. He's
Besides
he's a very earthy individual.
I'm sure he's quite a character.
I mean, I don't know what you call
Oh.
Attica. I don't know what you call hippies before they were hippies, or I'm sorry, beatniks, or
Beatniks.
the Woodstock people. What before Woodstock?
That's a
Mountain
good
man.
question.
Mountain man.
Tramps.
He was a mountain man.
Hooligans.
If they're rich, you call them dilettantes.
The unemployed.
Old man in the woods. All right, let's go find the old man in the woods.
Right? That what everyone wants to do?
If they're politically
Yeah.
active, you call them an anarchist.
Anarchist,
I knew a few of my
hillbilly, mountain man.
All right, so the lot of you want to go to Spirit Silverwind's home.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go talk to this crazy mountain man.
The cottage lies out near the woods, just past the tree line in its own personal clearing. It's quaint with a frontier style. There's no road leading up to it, though. It looks like it's probably about large enough to have a single room to it. Large but cozy. There's a large garden out in front of it, and it's full of berry bushes, and there's a stone path leading up to the door, and the door is hanging open.
No, that's not good. All right, we approach the door. I listen or try to see if I can hear anything. Do I have to roll an observation?
No, you hear nothing at all. You
All right.
approach up to the door, sidling up to it, and peer head in. Inside, the place is a bit of a mess, with the central table flipped over, and a dead gorilla on the floor with a tomahawk in his back. By
I
the
careful-
stench, he must have been dead a while, and the look on his shriveled face is horrifying, stiffened permanently in a scream of pain.
I carefully open the door and I guess someone was here before us.
Very curious.
I mean, it's obviously though it's Spirit, right?
Indeed, it is. Older than you remember, of course. A lot
Well-
more gray hair.
Of course, I remember him being like 23, so. And now he's like 60s, also dead, so. No, quite the same.
All right, so does this place look like it's ransacked, or does it look like there was a struggle? What's the story here?
It definitely looks like there's been a struggle. Why don't you case the place? Go ahead and give me mind and observation.
Triple success.
Heck yeah, you're doing real great. Okay, so Zama cases the place real quick. And the place seems like a very personal living space. There's a small bookshelf, along with a dream catcher and a cross hanging up on the wall. As far as you can tell what happened here, he must have been at the bookcase, and he in fact has a book in his hand, when the door must have been broken down, busted open with a single blow. And then the tomahawk went straight into his back. It's unknown what else may have happened here, but the place has gotten shuffled around. Either he must have tried to run at some point, or he was completely ambushed. And someone made a mess afterwards.
What's the book that he has in his hand?
It would appear to be a personal journal. Let me go
Is
ahead
it
and pull it up.
okay? I was gonna say, is it open to a particular page?
They are his personal notes.
Scribbled in blood. Dante killed me.
On the last page in blood, Dante, look out behind you.
Ah,
It appears to have a
aha.
lot of mystical native aspects to it, describing a large number of ceremonies. But at the bottom of, but in different parts are journals of his daily life, mostly crafting, getting equipment, exploring the forest, getting food, and trying to stir up discussions with the town that is more or less lukewarm about his presence, even when he goes about wearing that cross. But what stands out, of course, are the last two entries, dated a week
Which,
ago and last week.
and I read it out loud. Tonight, the dreamer brought me something new. Nightmares of an unimaginable despair and torment. Twisted chaos that never ends. An axe that rips the flesh, but a glimmer of hope with the narrowest of escapes, always just out of reach. It would be great torment to leave their friends behind than to continue to suffer alongside them. Something feels familiar about it, but I don't know what. And I go, dated last week. I had thought I saw something familiar about the strange nightmares I had seen. A burnt down shack that once belonged to an old lady and her child, before the town proper was anything of interest. There were only the dark marks in the earth where the wood had rotted now, and no sign of whoever had dreamed up these visions of terror. Yet I can't help but feel something odd is afoot, perhaps like the dreamer I must go by tonight.
Wait a minute. Her child?
An old lady and her child, that's what it says.
Well, that's no good.
Nicholas is in the background, sort of crossing his arms and tapping his foot. Well, I still don't see how this has anything to do with the plans.
Nicholas.
Oh, and I suppose the death is tragic too.
Nicholas, could you
Yeah, your sympathy is so
Nicholas, could you just
neg-
go get a police officer? Could you please?
If you insist, for as useful as they aren't. And he will go ahead and wander back to town.
I mean, I imagine there's a
Yeah,
bed somewhere in this room, right?
Look, we. Let me just say, is Nicholas out?
He's ready to walk, but you can stop him easily.
No. I just want to say something good behind his back.
Okay, yeah, he's out.
It's like, that was the problem with him. We both had the study for science, but his social skills were lacking.
There's a bed somewhere in this room, right?
Yes indeed, stuffed in one corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull
Close
the
to
blanket.
fireplace.
I'm gonna pull the blanket off and put it over top of Spirit's body.
Rest in peace.
Well, so he knows about the kidnapping, but leads on where take it.
Still super breaking up.
I don't know why. Bad internet today. No, all right. So we know. So do we look through this journal again? Are there any leads on?
Leads on what exactly?
The journal mentions an old woman and a child by name. Well, not by name, but mentions them, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So any leads? This person apparently knew something about the kidnappings.
There's a daughter. There's another person involved in this. Whoever the tiger was, whoever the person who was buried out there in that house had a child.
But that person was buried out there 30 years. You said that skull was 30 years rotted.
Indeed.
Right. But that means that we now know who buried the body out there, and it was the child. Whoever that child was buried the body out there.
All right. Well, crud.
Well, also, These are obviously dreams that Spirit had and he wrote down.
Also weird. Well, that doesn't help us. I have to.
He broke up after I have to.
Man, I don't know why I'm breaking up today.
Nobody else is.
Yeah,
Well, no,
maybe.
here's the-
Tell you what, if I'm having this much trouble, I'm gonna go ahead and read because maybe I'm a little stale. So I'm just
Okay.
troubled that we haven't had any leads. I'll be right back.
Fair
No
enough then.
problem. And
All
I go, the journal entry says that the woman and the child is not part of the dream. It's something he remembers. It's not part of the dream.
Literally says, tonight the dreamer brought me something. And the second part is about the first part, or what thing brought him from the first part. So it's literally dreams. Well, it's just saying the dreamer has nothing to do with dreams.
No. He says, he goes, a burnt down shack once belonged to an old lady and her child before the town proper was anything of interest.
Right, so he saw it in the strange nightmares. Which refers to the nightmares brought upon by the dreamer from 2 weeks ago. Which we don't know how long 2 weeks ago was. I'm sorry, I'm caught up on the sentence. It would be a greater torment to leave their friends behind than to continue to suffer alongside them, because that rings true to me. "40 years of PTSD.
BTS shell shock would probably be the term.
No,
Now it's only been 20 years since you abandoned your friends.
shell shock would be a war term. I'm just having post-traumatic stress. Also,
That's
I am 40-something years old, so technically 30 years separated.
Yeah. Still, I think, sir, you might be having a case of the vapors. That's about as far as psychology has gotten right now, I think.
No, actually, psychoanalysis is currently a trend.
Growing
I just
trend.
say that I just say the name post-traumatic disorder did come until afterwards.
Shell shock, yeah, shell shock comes in after the World War that just happened, but it isn't in common circulation yet. And I'm aware post-traumatic stress is the terminology that's used after shell shock. I'm just saying it out of character, though.
Okay, never mind.
But shit, now I
So
can't
continue.
remember what I was about to say. I mean, all of this lines up with what I know, except for the fact that I didn't expect Spirit to be dead. I mean, if this was a movie, I would expect Spirit would be the one that would be able to lead us to eventual victory. He's like that old woman
He's
from
supposed to be the mentor figure, but someone killed him already.
Yeah, he's like the old short fat woman from Exorcist, right? Or no, Poltergeist rather. The one that leads Carol Ann out of the television set. I feel like if she died at the beginning of the movie, it's like, well, I don't know, where do we go now?
So, what are you guys thinking of doing?
Waiting for the police to return, for one.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, that's the terrible move, because the police are going to think we're having something to do with it. At the same time, man, I've run too long. I've been running for 40 years now.
The police will, of course, arrive shortly afterwards. And they'll roll up on it. Nicholas is standing by the cars as they go in. All right, what's going on? The smell. All of you, get out of here. Get out of this house. This is a crime scene.
Oh yeah, I forgot that this town is run by Barney Fife and gang.
And as I leave, I take the dream catcher out. I take
Okay,
the dream
you go ahead
catcher.
and just pocket it on your way out before anyone really takes notice of it.
Yeah.
Deputies, was there any suspicious people around when the dead body was found? Oh yeah, we let them all go.
No. You stay by the cars. Don't go back into yours. Got questions.
But Andy...
And they will grill you for a while about what you did, when you got here, what you saw, what you touched. why you happen to be in town and go from drawing their attention once and then coming over here and drawing their attention again. You didn't have to be in town last week, were you? Come on.
So I
Out with it.
basically act. So I basically act like an immigrant with broken English, and like I'm just here because boss told me I had to show up and drive, and I make like the driving motion with the wheel.
You got your immigration forms.
Yes, he has his immigration forms. If you remember, we have a full stadium of people who can attest to our being back in Trakoga, giving a performance exactly 1 week ago.
All right, I'm going to need some names and
And I-
numbers, and he'll go
and
and
I
dig down
hand-
a whole bunch from you.
And I
Yeah,
hand him,
I just
hand him
got
a-
here.
I hand him a flyer, and I go into the Dante the Magnificent,
The original.
and original.
Out
Original
of character.
Magnificent.
Out of character, though. Just a real question. Would police be asking people for phone numbers? In this era, I mean?
Well, you just said you had a business
Right, I
and a
guess.
stadium full of people.
Sure. I know it's a standard practice to ask people for phone numbers these days. I'm just asking out of character to get my mind
You
in
know
the
their
setting.
addresses, their names, when they'll come back to see you again? I need statements. I need alibis.
Yeah, don't be leaving town now.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask, can everyone give a solid alibi about where they were last week?
Literally have 50 people that saw me.
Samek and Dante, you two are in the clear. That leaves Claudia and James. How are you going to explain where you were last week?
I was throwing knives at my boss last week.
Okay, I am back. What do I have to clear myself from?
The police have come by and are asking for alibis about last week because this is all very suspicious, and you guys keep finding dead things, and they want to know what your current excuse is for where you were last week.
Well, I have an excuse of I wasn't born yet when the 30-year-old crime was committed, so that's my.
No, not that one. I mean the axe in the back here.
What the strange? I can't possibly think of what they're asking about, but they're asking about the acid factory, aren't they?
No, they're just asking about where you were last week because they've come here and they have the dead body with the axe in it.
Oh yeah, I can be very specific. I was at that dilettante party. I was at the country club. What was it? At the Wild Bear Country Club. Bear
see.
Country Club.
And you wouldn't mind if we called a few of these associates of yours, your friends.
Of course I would mind. I'm insulted that I'm performing my civic duty to report a crime, and I'm being accused of actually being a party in it. I'm disgusted.
All right, ma'am.
You'll
No
be
need
hearing
to
about this.
offend you or your family. You seem like you have good upbringing and all. We're just trying to cover all of our bases and make sure we're not missing anything. There's too many people missing and not enough suspects.
If only I'm sorry. I'm going to need a minute to recover myself. I'm very delicate.
Of course. And what about you, James? Where were you last week?
I was having a. I didn't really do much last week, but I did. But I was at the bar. But I was at a bar. But I did have a bar. Have a talk with some of my. Talk with some people of higher standing.
I see. You know their names? Can they vouch for you?
Oh, of course. I give them some names.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just casually write down. Boop-a-doop boop. Do Willow Springs knows all about everyone. Okay, cool. So they have an alibi from each of you at this point. He looks over his notes, he looks at you, he looks at the house, and he talks to his deputies here. He turns back to all of you and goes, all right. Well, at least by the sounds of it and the looks of it, I can at least reasonably confidently rule out that you may have actually done this yourself. But I swear, there's another body that pops up in town I just happen to have not known about, I'm gonna go insane. So please, please, just have a good day instead. No more bodies. I'm begging you. Just stay out of trouble. And he will continue with his investigation for the time being.
And once he's out of line, I'm gonna go. We're gonna find more bodies.
It's certainly shaping up that way.
This is how you spend all of your weeks.
I'm starting to get worried that,
No, I swear,
might not
a
be
few
considered
weeks ago, we were just cruising around, doing magic tricks, impressing little kids. Then all of a sudden, we were buried under 50 feet of dirt. Weird creatures started popping up, and fungus, and bombs, and acid guns, and I don't know, ogres.
And I hear all this and going, "You're kidding."
Oh no, dude, we were legit buried like under 50 feet of dirt. Like the entire library got teleported underground. It was total like absolute mind show, mind freak.
And a perfect
Surreal.
standing ovation.
I just look at them and going, I'm starting to wonder if I'm starting to wonder if I come into the right group or not.
I definitely have no
Listen,
qualms
never-
about saying that I think each and every one of you is insane at this point.
Listen,
But at least
there's
we're getting
never a
some
dull
work done
moment.
today.
Never a
Wait.
dull moment around here.
Wait, how am I the insane?
Oh, don't act like you're not. I've seen you in class. Always muttering to yourself. But it doesn't matter. School days are over.
I've just met him, and I'm pretty sure he's the sanest one of us.
So, what do you all plan to do? You've been kicked out of everyone's house, found another dead body.
A couple
Why
dead
would
bodies.
he was obviously murdered, and it was by a tomahawk?
Indeed. An axe with a triangular blade.
Was
Which
it
I'm gonna-
like
I'm going to
tool that
assume
we-
it's similar to the one Dante that you remember.
Since you explored the house, Zamek, both of them actually, they do look roughly similar. They were both handcrafted and used mostly natural materials. There appears to have been hand fabricated.
Okay, so I think we need to find this child of whoever was buried out there. Something tells me they're either at the heart of this or they know a lot about what's going on.
My thoughts exactly.
Somebody in this town has to remember who lived out there.
I'll start asking around.
Wait,
Alright.
so you know someone? I feel like a lead was buried here. So you know somebody else who was killed by a tomahawk?
What do you mean? What do you mean that a lead was buried? I mean, I think you should out of character explain something if you are confused about something. You remember that when I went over my history when we were at the grill, I mentioned that I was almost killed by an axe in the woods. Remember?
Right. And this guy was killed by an axe.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's the connection that they're talking about.
Who's going around killing people with an axe 30 years ago with a weird fungus thing? This is just so weird. This sounds like something we should do. I just feel really sad for Harvey because it's kind of like we're doing all this weird. Like, I agree this is a weird thing, but I'm not sure what it has anything to do with Harvey. She might have been like funneled out of the city by now.
Right, but Harvey lives here. Okay, I think that's the connection that you're missing, is that Harvey lives in Willow
But she's been
Springs.
kidnapped.
From Willow Springs.
But she's been kidnapped.
Right, and I'm saying your other investigation, why I was going about this when we were back in Tricoga, about the unrelatedness of your investigation to the Harvey situation, is because she went missing here, whereas everybody you're investigating went missing there.
Okay, well, I thought maybe she might be there, but now that I know that she's not there and I don't know where she is in Willow Springs, I think we should be concentrating on finding where she went.
Right, but there's no evidence that she was ever in Tricoga, is what I'm getting at.
Well, now we don't know where she is in Willow Springs, and this is how many days has she been missing?
At least a week.
Right, but at the very least, anyway, this follows a pattern of mystery that's been going on in Willow Springs for a while, and doesn't really seem to tie into any events taking place in Tricoga.
Right. But I just, so what's our plan of action to find Miss Harvey? Like, where do you guys want to go next?
See, that's why I brought you in, because I thought you were going to be the expert in this scenario.
Well, I have resources. Like, for example, I've already like canvassed the relevant morgues, and she wasn't there, so we can rule that out. I know it's grisly, but that was the first thing to rule out. Then I thought, well, maybe she was abducted with these other people in the place I know people are being kidnapped. And then,
we got Blair Witched.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is as much as I am willing to stake out the woods to see who is coming to investigate the weird flock of fungus, I'm worried that might not be in Harvey's best interests.
And I'm telling you, I have a gut feeling that this person who lived out in the woods and buried that person in a hut is somehow involved in all this. And if we locate that person, it will either lead us to Harvey or at least give us insight into what's going on.
I mean, it's certainly in our best interest not to go back out to the woods.
The assumption is twofold right now. Either someone came from the woods to the house and stole Harvey, which is not likely but possible, or Harvey left the house, went into the woods, and got abducted in there, which seems to fit the general.
Well, how are we going to find this person then?
I don't know. We got to go ask around, I guess. Someone here has to remember someone living out in the woods 30 years ago.
Well, I suppose we could start canvassing the neighborhood and asking questions.
What about... I'm just throwing this out there. City Hall records. Town records.
That's possible too. But I'm assuming whoever's out there was probably squatting or something.
Right.
Yeah, what would you be looking for?
Let's see. When the town was the dream record guy, Spirit's book mentions that the person living in the woods was there before the town was founded, which means that town records upon founding might have references to locals in the area. If this person was ever involved in any sort of crimes, the police might have a record of them.
I suppose you could look in those records. Are you thinking this person is like, the kidnapper is like in their 60s?
The mother might have been in their 60s, which would then give us at least a foothold of information to figure out the daughter's name or whereabouts.
Okay. Who has research as a gift?
I have academics.
I do. I have research as a gift.
There you
right.
go.
The debunker may be able to help you with that. So I would suggest that we have team records, which is where the debunker goes to the House of Records with people who can help them read that. And we also have team gossip, because my only investigative ability is I'm very good at talking to people. So if I could interview people and ask them if they've seen anything unusual or anything like that, I could do that. That would be me hitting the bricks and asking people questions. So I can go ahead and do that with anyone who also has questioning skill, which I'm guessing is also the debunker.
Yes, I have two.
Oh, you
Yes,
do?
I have two. I have one. I have one.
Right, but I'm guessing the debunker is probably more useful on your record thing, because I think the debunker is the only one who has questioning and research, which are the two best investigative abilities. It's almost like his job is investigating mysteries.
It seems
Yeah,
to
to press
me
people on questions.
that we would send Zamek and James to City Hall. And then
And
the rest
and
of
the two
us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sure.
I can assist James. At least I have some academic skill.
Yeah,
so I could,
I think that makes the most sense.
and I have observation, so I guess that helps as well.
All right, James and Zamek, you are going to go to City Hall to look up records then. So, what do we have to look up records? Mind, academics, questioning, research?
I have questioning. I have academics.
I have academics as well, and
right.
observation.
So, Zamek, I believe you were assisting in this case?
Yep.
So you can go ahead and roll for the D8, and of course you can use your gift to apply a D12 if you wanted as well, on top of that.
I can wait to do that, right? Or do I have to announce that right now?
You could go ahead and tap it after the roll if you really want to.
Okay. And
If he doesn't get
academics.
enough successes for your liking.
Okay, okay. Let's see here. Okay. There's academic.
Academics, questioning, and research.
Okay.
Including mind, right?
Here's my assist, which doesn't help you at all.
Just a minute.
Well, that is one success so far, thanks to research.
All right. I guess I will tap my my personality gift, and I'll roll an extra D12.
What's the personality again?
I'm stubborn.
Okay, that'll probably.
Okay. So you tapped personality for that, right?
Yes. Which
Okay, so you can go ahead and roll an extra D8 then, James, as you do get the assist now. You do have 2 ones in there. Do you have a favored use for your questioning or academics, like perusing archives? Going over bureaucracy?
I have science and questioning witnesses.
Oh, you already chose some favorites. Well, I don't think
Well,
either of those necessarily applies here. So then I'll ask Zamek, do you want to give him an extra D12?
How can I do that?
Via your luck gift.
Sure. Why not?
All right, James, go ahead and roll an extra D12. Come on, James. The suspense. Are you still there, EH?
Oh, sorry. I thought I wasn't the one. I had to be. Sorry, I got. Sorry,
It's
I thought
okay.
he had to
Go ahead
roll
and
it.
roll the d12.
Forgot your name's James, huh?
Okay, 2 successes. So you scrounge through some of the city hall records, and it does make a note of a population that happens to be in the area and some relative quote unquote directions to find them. Uh, and of course, it does mention a few places that these people might have interacted with. So you take this information and you actually head outside to find someone who owned one of the first general stores in town. He's an octogenarian, and he's willing to invite you in and talk to you about this. At a stroke of luck, he hasn't happened to have died yet, and he happens to have met a number of people out there. Well, when it comes to women living out in the woods, I don't think that's the proper place for them, but I did happen to know 2 people just like that. One of them was Regina Moon. Real character, that one, you know. Ah, think she used to do some certain work, and he gives like you a wink as if you're supposed to already know.
Oh,
But I think she ended up choosing her retirement plan to be out in the woods. Think she liked it that way more. Think she had a husband out there, but I don't really know what happened to him at all. As far as I know, Regina might still be out there, hiding away from everybody, not wanting to talk to anyone. Funny rabbit like that, you know. Other one that fits the build, though, I think has gotta be Estelle Terrell. Now, she's a real quiet type, you know. Also like to really keep to herself. Now, I never knew who her husband might have been, but she did have a child. Never really asked her where she got it from, but it looked enough like her. I figured it was hers. He gives like a chuckle.
Was it Steel a tiger? A tiger?
Yeah. Yeah, that she was. How'd you know that?
It's a wild guess.
You're good guessing. You know, my son's real good at guessing too. I think that's how he guessed his way into the stock trade. I think he's out
uh,
there, out in Sunshine City right now.
now about the child.
Oh yeah, her kid. Yeah, I lost touch with her long ago. She never really came into town all that much. Real self-reliant. She loved that kid of hers though. Anytime she did come by. Not really sure what happened to him though.
Really?
Yeah. I
What
always
was
figured she just didn't need anything, so she just never came by. Sad to
what was the
hear that
last
she
what was the last time you
What was
had
the last?
contact with her?
Yeah.
mm, guess the last time I remember seeing her was when she came into town with one of her latest kills. And you see, she still had the blood of it on her face. Uh and she had her kid coming with her. Had her wearing a rabbit mask. I think maybe to cover up some blood on her own face. I think she was teaching her how to do the hunting too. Uh and the little kid was nice and silent the whole way through as I watched old Joe do all the butchering. And she only had a couple words. You know, I asked her if how her hunting was going. She always just had those one word responses. It was good. It's dead. Like, dinner tonight. Real quiet one that. But I paid her about $10 for the whole catch. It was real nice. Managed to sell those off for good profit that week.
So I take it the
That was
kid was
about
about
geez, that must have been like 50 years ago now.
take it the kid was about 10 or 11.
Uh, yeah, kid was real young at that time. I'd say they were a little toddler like that.
All right, I give a look to James. I go, wow, well, you've been really You'd be really helpful, sir. You
Oh,
have a really
I'm
nice
just so
day.
glad, tell people about the older generation. People just don't appreciate the past all that much. Back in my day, I used to wear a daikon radish. That was the style at the time. And he will target your ear off unless you escape.
We
All
escaped.
right. James escapes. I humor the old man for a couple of minutes, and then I make my kind leave. Like I said, my boss is gonna call me soon.
Come back again. No telling
Mm.
how long I'll be here.
No problem,
Better
sir.
get all you can while you can.
You have a good night.
And this takes you about a few hours. So Claudia and Dante, what are you doing in the meanwhile?
We're actually walking around saying we're looking for a girl. If there's anything you can tell us, it'd be very helpful.
Oh dear, a little girl?
Well, gossiping usually means talk. It takes hours of talking to a lot of people and only getting some useful stuff. Now, I have gossip.
Exactly.
I don't have questioning, but I do have gossip. What does Dante? Do you have questioning?
Nope.
But you have a high mind attribute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to assist just rolling your raw mind?
That's yeah.
Oh no, wait. Do you have local area knowledge of this town?
Yes,
He grew up here.
I have local knowledge, Willow Springs. I have not sold it back.
But I'm thinking you don't want to tip your hand as a local, right? You want to keep up the Dante facade.
Correct.
Why don't you assist me then?
Okay.
You should be able to use your local knowledge to assist me.
Right, and that'll give you a D8 to add to your roll, and so you'll have your ultimately mind D8 and your D12 gossip.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So 3 successes. So you tell me don't obvious places to go or better routes. And so we are literally canvassing the neighborhood, saying we're looking for a missing girl.
Okay, what specific information are you looking for here? Just
Well,
to
we're
get
telling
at this.
people. Well, we're asking hey, we're looking for. They were last. They match the description. We have reason to believe they might be in the area. Anything you can do to help us out, tell us anything weird that you've seen or anything. I mean, literally, we have no details of the crime, right? All we know is that one night Harvey was in bed, and the next day when they came looking for her, she was gone, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's all we know. But we're just gonna. This is the best skill I have. I'm very personable. So.
Okay. So you managed to gather that a lot of people have been aware of it, but some people seem like they've never heard of it before. But
Yep.
they're willing to talk to you about Claudia, what they know. They know that she goes to school and has a couple of friends, one of them named Curtis, and they always seem like an inseparable pair. So you go around and start asking about the kid because he seems to be about the only person who might have known what happened to her or where she's gone to.
Just
Or had
Curtis?
seen her last, even, aside from just her parents.
No one knows Curtis's last name?
I didn't pick out a last name here.
Okay.
I'm just throwing at you as a reference name here.
All right. Curtis Blow. All right.
Yeah, Curtis Blow. And so you do manage to find where his family lives, and manage to knock on the door. And the parents understand that you're doing an investigation and that they're more than willing to help find their kid's missing friend. And so you find young Curtis, just a tiny little elephant boy. And he clamps up completely tight as soon as you mention anything.
Well, we're going to explain that this is. I know you guys love it when I invoke the period details. Yeah, but this is the 1920s. This is the era where children run away from home. So,
Right.
and stranger
And as soon as
dangers.
you sort of pressure the thought on him, it's like she didn't run away. He starts breaking down crying.
She didn't run away. What makes you say that?
She, that, that was the idea. She
Um,
said she hated her dad. I just wanted to help her out. I tapped on the glass and we thought we'd go out and make a life somewhere or something. We could
wait,
do
okay.
anything the adults could do, but then
How
out of
old
the
is
woods
Curtis?
there was this rabbit creature and an axe. Ah. And he starts breaking down crying.
Rabbit creature with an axe. Okay. Hey, Dante, is hypnotism part of your act?
I've not actually practiced it before.
I thought you were more of an illusionist. Okay. Well,
I mean, it's not to say that I could not attempt it.
okay, because if you could calm him down and we could get some more details, but
Right.
honestly, he really just said, so some weirdo with rabbit with an axe came, and we already found someone murdered by an axe and a rabbit mask. So,
I mean, I
well,
have pulled a full rabbit man out of my hat before. This is now canon.
yeah. Well, there's your smoking gun. So.
I'm going to reach into my sleeve with my clearly white glove and pull out a stopwatch on chain. Curtis, do you like watches?
I guess.
Look at my watch. It comes from Italy. They say that they are the second greatest watchmakers in the world. Those Italians, they say, lots of them. Waving it in front of him. I'm just trying to,
Right,
do
you're
the
waving it in front of him and slowly luring him into a daze with
tone
your,
of voice, yeah.
with your tone of your voice.
3
So, how about
successes.
giving me that roll? Oh, is that the roll there?
Yep. Which is enough
Yay.
for hypnosis.
Excellent.
Which is funny because I was really hoping for suggestion, but hypnosis will work.
What does
Let's see,
hypnosis
let's
get
see.
us?
Oh, my thing also goes down by 1 die, so I'm a D4 for power die.
Oh, I'm sorry, your power die went down.
Yeah, stand around in a daze, blindsidable, snap out of the hypnotized state if they're
Will
shaking
ask,
around.
can ask questions. The target will
Always tell the
respond.
truth and will respond as best as they're able to. There
Yeah.
we go.
Ignore
He
opinion
stopped
dice.
crying even though his breath is a little bit unsteady.
And won't remember anything that
Oh.
happens while they're hypnotized.
Mm-hmm.
And we can,
suggestions where you can actually
Quick,
make
take his
use of.
wallet.
yeah, mind a negotiation to get them to agree to do harmless things.